Warning: sensitive content.
Peace for Ukraine or you reign now. Russia, just go home.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds. Heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visite suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Programele noastre oferă multe limbi. Vă puteți uita pe suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Veganism, it's a social movement. Veganism is based on the principle that human beings should live without exploiting other animals. So it is a movement for respect and for understanding who other animals would be if we didn't control them systematically, if we cared about them in the sense of respecting them.
Continue watching to find out more.
Therefore, Ananda, one who enters samadhi while practicing meditation in stillness without renouncing or killing, is like one who hopes that nobody will hear him shout if he stops up his own ears. Surangama Sutra, Buddhism.
Cherished viewers, bonjour means hello in Walloon, a language spoken in Wallonia, a region of Belgium. I am Elio. The exuberant people of Wallonia are grateful for your kind and loving care for our animal friends and wish you excellent health with heaven's infinite blessing. Welcome to our show, Lee Hall Vegan, a life committed to animal people liberation. Lee Hall Vegan is a highly respected lawyer, environmental law specialist, writer, author, animal people rights advocate, and public speaker. Lee was Vice President of Legal Affairs at Friends of Animals and has taught law at Rutgers University, New Jersey, and Widener University, Delaware Law School in Delaware, United States. On today's program, Lee begins by sharing a journey to veganism that began in 1983.
I became a vegan in 1983 because I had a conversation. It was the first time I heard vegan. I made a friend, and my friend told me about the way we interact with animals, and that it always seems to be from an interaction of use, an interaction of domination, an interaction of really exploitation, because that's what use of other animals is. I thought, well, I need to make a commitment. I decided that I would make a commitment to stop using animals in any way. I knew, for example, at that time, that I would never get on a horse again, and I never did. So for me, it was all about any kind of use of other animals that I can stop right now, I'll stop right now.
Lee Hall's transition to veganism took only a matter of weeks. During that time, Lee changed not only diet, but an entire lifestyle.
I thought, think of all the ways that I've used animals for food, for entertainment, as pets. If I looked back on my life, I said, how am I going to undo this? So it took me weeks and weeks. My friend was a very good coach, a very good mentor. Mentorship matters. But within a few weeks, I felt confident that I was doing all I could to stop using animals and to respect animal life in the world, and that I would be committed for life to living this way. So I didn't couldn't say, well, let me cut out certain animal products and get to cheese and dairy later. I decided I made the commitment to cut them all out at once. And it took me a little while to get there, but with a little help, I made it. And I've been doing it since 1983, so 39 years now.
After transitioning, Lee realized why the commitment to veganism was so worthwhile.
The one thing that makes veganism the most worthwhile is I have a feeling of having declared peace on the rest of sentient life. So when I became vegan for the first time in my life, I know how it feels to offer the planet's other living beings genuine respect. That's such a treasure.
However, after adopting the vegan lifestyle, Lee's job became increasingly unbearable.
As a new vegan, I was working for an airline as a freight and baggage handler. And I enjoyed it, but something was bothering me. And I started focusing on it, and it was the animals shipped in freight. And I was part of a system that moved animals from place to place to be used in different ways. So, for example, puppies who would be shipped in crates, and they'd be in their own soil in crates for hours, waiting to go to some retail store. Or I would see monkeys on their way to labs where they'd be tested on, and they'd be waiting in cages. Who would trap a monkey and put a monkey in a cage? What a sad, sad, sad situation this is. Sometimes I would be there 4:30 a.m., and I'd be there to open a container that was out there on the ramp, on the tarmac. And I'd open it up, and because it was a very cold night, it was water with tropical fish in it, but now it's an ice cube. And all the fishes have frozen to death inside. And these are the types of things I saw in my ordinary course of work. And when I tried to make things better for the animals, I failed. Could never make things right. This was always a horror for them.
Eventually, Lee could no longer bear to see the immense suffering of the animal people and made a momentous career decision.
And I thought to myself, what can I do? And I thought maybe I should go to law school, because that's the only way that I could get lasting change, is to stop this from happening. And only the law could do that. So I made a commitment that I would go to law school and try to fix things. Maybe law school was the key to the whole system.
However, once in law school, Lee learned that protecting the lives of animal people through the legal system was not going to be easy because, under current laws, animal persons are classified as so-called property.
I learned that in my very first law school course. It was property law. The very first course I ever walked into explained how hunters can own a free-living animal. It was a case about a fox called Pearson versus Post. Very first case in law school taught us that the one who has the complete control over the animal first is the owner. That was my introduction to law school. I later taught law. I was later able to teach animal law. So this experience took me in my life's direction. I don't regret it, but I do realize how very difficult it is to undo what we have done through rules, customs that we have hardened into rules that we live by every day. It is a challenge, animal law.
Vegan, because we want to teach our children to be a noble person.
Compassionate viewers, we're going to pause for a moment to pray for World Vegan, World Peace. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to our program, Lee Hall, Vegan, A Life Committed to Animal People Liberation, Part 1 of 2. Some people shift to a vegan lifestyle to improve their health. However, Lee believes that true veganism has a much deeper meaning.
Health is an element of veganism. Of course, if we look after ourselves, our own health, we're looking after animal life, and we can be more energetic and better vegans because we care about ourselves. But the vegan definition is much broader and much deeper than that, because veganism, it's a social movement, and veganism is based on the principle that human beings should live without exploiting other animals. So it is a movement for respect and for understanding who other animals would be if we didn't control them systematically, if we cared about them in the sense of respecting them. That is what veganism asks us to do.
Lee Hall is the author of many publications and shared the inspiration for the 2016 book On Their Own Terms, Animal Liberation for the 21st Century.
In 2004, law professor Catherine McKinnon wrote a book chapter, and the name of it is Of Mice and Men, a Feminist Fragment on Animal Rights. And in this book chapter, Professor McKinnon called for a way of thinking about other animals that, quote, recognizes their existence on their own terms. And I thought, this is what it's all about. Animal liberation is a unique movement, I thought. It's different from any other movement because it involves freedom from human society rather than equality within it. Well, that makes it unique. And so when Professor McKinnon mentioned on their own terms, I thought, this is the core of it, really.
Many advocacy organizations work diligently to get animal people legally recognized as sentient beings or persons. Lee believes we must do more.
First of all conscious beings should be respected as persons. But human rights are not what they need. Animals really need liberation. And that is only meaningful if the land, the water, the air is respected for them and left untouched. Now, so far, the cases that we've seen come out on legal personhood seem to paint, largely, not all, but most, seem to paint pictures of animals who are nearly human. They can count. They have memories of the past. They can recognize themselves in the mirror. And therefore, the argument goes, they're so much like humans that they should have what are essentially human rights. But this, I think, misses the point of what we ought to struggle for. And that's the ability to thrive on their own terms. Personhood needs to be about animal liberation.
How can we achieve animal people liberation? To do so, Lee explains we must closely examine our attitudes towards animal people.
So nowadays, our domesticated animals, those we look after, and those we use, and those we exploit, are numbering in the billions. And their ancestral communities are treated as threats to cull, to kill, to subdue. We have gradually exterminated the free animals around us. And then we've produced other animals who will accommodate our desires, even if that desire is companionship. It's still accommodating what we want the other animal to be. And so the message that I wanted to bring up was, let's question that status of animals as adjuncts of our lives. Whether they be perceived by us to be food for us to consume, or to be service providers, or to be therapy pets, or to be research subjects, or to be guards. Let's ask ourselves if we can phase that kind of relationship out, because it is one based on dominance and subordination. Can we then focus on free living animals and defending their liberty? And of course, we need to start doing that now before we lose. We are living in the sixth great extinction period, and it is human driven. So we need to look at the animals around us and how we can respect them, protect the habitat that is theirs, and be sure that they thrive.
Our sincere appreciation, Lee Hall, for sharing your forward-thinking ideas for Animal People Personhood. We admire and applaud your determined efforts to liberate all animal individuals. For more information on Lee Hall and the Studio for the Art of Animal Liberation, please visit veganplace.blog and patreon.com/Lee Hall.
Vegan, the heart that expands with joy and love.
Warm-hearted viewers, it has been a pleasure to have your company for today's show. Coming up next is Encouragements of Love, Part 4 of 15 on Between Master and Disciples right after noteworthy news. May we soon live in a compassionate vegan world where all lives are respected and cherished.
Russia, leave Ukraine or you reign now. Peace be with you too.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not rich.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/VE.